Welcome to Wheels Up Wednesday. I'm Spencer. This is Matt. Matt, you went down to Las Cruces this weekend. You went on a death march of all things you could have done this weekend. But it wasn't before we pulled one of the best pranks that we've done that you just found out about tonight.
Yeah, right before we started filming, I was looking out the window and I saw on top of my van a 12 sticker. And this
Good old Ryan Blaney
This
fan.
goes back to last week. I was at Jason's house and one of his clients had an extra sticker in his truck, 5 of Wegner. And I thought it'd be funny to stick it on Jason's back windshield. And he noticed a couple hours later, got a kick out of it.
Flip over to me and Jason
Yeah.
that same evening. We noticed the sticker on the back window of his truck, and we're like, what can we do to get him back?
Right.
Because we're all about practical jokes in our group of
it's
friends.
back and forth. With
Whether
this
it's me, you, Cody, Mark, anything.
Yeah.
We're all about, practical jokes. We can't get enough of it. So me and Jason thought really hard, and we were like, man, what do we have? We were hanging out at Jason's, doing a little bit of homework, and the best thing that we can come up with was a big 12 sticker left over from old Hollywood's racing days, Justin Irwin, and we decided, you know what? It would be almost not as good if we just put that thing right on the back of your van.
Yeah, something noticeable. Right?
We were like, you know what would really get them? Is if we put it on the top of the van, and it took them a couple weeks to find out.
I got to give you guys props.
And just a few minutes before we started filming, you were looking out the window, and you go, what is that?
Yeah, I was seeing something on my on the roof, like it was a shadow or some like spray paint, and I was like, what the hell is that? I looked closer and I saw it was a 12. I remembered the sticker I put on Jason's truck.
The best part is I gave you plenty of subtle hints all throughout the weekend.
But
before you went down to Las Cruces for your marathon, I texted you. I was like, take care of the car, Ryan. Talking about Ryan Blaney. I said, bring that number 12 car home with us. Not once did you realize it. So I'd say that was pretty successful. You dig it?
No, yeah. Props to you guys. Just be ready for the comeback.
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I'm sure I'm going to get involved here pretty soon. So you went down to Las Cruces, participated in this death march. Tell me a little bit about how it went. I know there was a lot more questions than answers. You wore a 35-pound backpack?
No, well, yeah. I signed up for the heavy. Yeah.
You were gloating the whole last week about how you were going to do the heavy class.
Oh, yeah. No, I talked it up for sure.
What happened?
So I got down there to pick up the packets a few days before the race because it was going to be a madhouse with 8,000 people. You're not going to do that right before the race. So I went down Friday, and I got my papers, my shirt, and I said, well, I signed up for the heavy, so where do I get my sack? Thinking they would provide that, right? I was wrong. And they said, you got to provide that yourself. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I can still, scramble, get something together that's close to 35 pounds. And then I just lost the desire to do it all. But I still had a little Camelback with water and snacks and whatnot.
So thankfully, the organization down there saved your ass, is what you're telling me.
I'm super thankful. But come Sunday morning, I woke up at about 4:30 and headed down. It was about 45 minutes away from Las Cruces. It's over in White Sands Missile Range. And a lot of traffic getting down there.
Which is weird because usually it's the exact opposite. That's the middle of nowhere.
But the event started at 7 and they did the ceremonies. There's 3 survivors from the actual Baton Death March, which is cool. The oldest is 103 years old, I believe, and I did shake his hand before the race, so that was pretty cool. And they started the event at about 7:45. It was a little bit delayed.
Of course, New Mexico.
And I was feeling pretty good, and so I started running after we crossed the start-finish line. And I ran about the first 9 miles, and I thought this was, this is going to be a breeze. I'm not tired yet.
Well, yeah, I would too. Right. Now that you lost your 35-pound backpack before you even started, that's a huge gain.
I still had about 20 pounds of water and, necessities in the back.
That's saving time. That's like having to go further on fuel without a pit stop.
Yeah, it's taking off lead. But, I got about 9 miles in, and this is more so dirt than sand so far, so it was pretty easy
to
run.
So it's literally nothing you said it was. That's what you're telling me.
Let me get there. And so, let's see, I decided to stop and walk after mile 9. and my hips started hurting, like in the front pelvis area. And so I was like, well, hopefully that'll go away. I'll just walk a little bit. But it just kept getting worse and worse. So I power walked the rest of it about as fast as I could. And by mile 20, they had the sand pit, which was basically an arroyo full of sand.
Full of sand.
Dirt. Right.
The sand pit had sand
The
in
sand
it?
pit had sand.
Ah,
right.
That's where they get the name.
No dirt, just sand. And so you're up to your knees in sand, just trying to hike through it. It's all uphill. It was windy. It was miserable. It wasn't very fun. But
did you meet anybody cool besides the
survivor? So there was this one dude. He had been doing it for 7 years. I think he was an ex ROTC, student or something like that. But he was probably in his 40s. Huge dude, huge black guy. And I caught humor out of this guy because I saw him in front of me, and he had his hands up like this, and he was wiggling his fingers. So I got up behind him, and I stopped to walk with him, and he's like, yeah, I got to stretch my fingers out because I can't feel my fingers, and
diabetes.
You got to get the blood. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And so we passed each other, he got ahead of me, I got ahead of him. So every time we met back up, I'm like, how's your fingers doing? But yeah, that was pretty cool. All in all, I would say good experience, but it was tough. But glad I
deservingly so.
Completed it in just under 7 hours, averaging 14, 15-minute miles. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was
pretty good. Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. How was your weekend? Oklahoma,
once we got there, it was pretty fun. First, you had to get left lane all the way over there.
Right, I-25 down to Cruces.
If there's one thing I've learned from Jason this year is you got to run left lane.
Yep.
It actually did matter, though, in Amarillo.
Yeah.
That's got to be the worst stretch of highway.
Maybe there's a reason behind it.
That's got to be the worst stretch of highway. Really, it didn't matter, though, because we were hopping and skipping throughout that whole city. Terrible roads. I swear that thing's been in construction for the last 10 years. I remember, the first time I went through there had been 2008 construction, and they just literally moved it up a mile. So I don't know who's in charge of that, but they should probably get their shit together down there. Once we got to Oklahoma, though, really nice racetrack down there. I-44 Riverside Speedway.
That was your first time?
First time down there. We go in there. Everybody else, of course, had already practiced on Thursday, so I'm like, oh, great. I'm already knowing that I'm going to kind of be behind the 8 ball. We didn't get to check out what our gearing would be.
Right.
We had to just kind of guess on setup, so it was kind of a struggle in that sense. But we went down there anyways. We were determined to make it a good showing, and I just wanted some really good seat time, too, down there with some of the best racers in the nation.
Yeah.
We enter through the gates, and the first thing we see is all those Keith Kunz cars lined up.
Nice.
They're beautiful machines.
Oh, yeah.
All the big rigs. It's kind of interesting because in New Mexico, I'm not going to say we're one of the nicest trailers, but we're definitely not on the 50 percentile that's the worst.
But to you, those were intimidating to see, right?
When you go in and you are the worst trailer, the worst race team there, it kind of opens your eyes and shows you outside New Mexico, these guys don't mess around.
There's some money, yeah.
So that was really interesting for me to go out there and just race with some different guys. Didn't get the results we wanted to. I think we were a little bit underpowered. I entered into the Power Eye National Micro Sprint Series class out there, which they spend just buku bucks making sure all their equipment's top notch. Not that we don't make sure that ours isn't top notch.
Yeah.
But they're on a different financial level than we are a lot of the time. So not making any excuses, though. We tried really hard. We were definitely underpowered just a little bit, and we didn't have that little extra bit to overcome what we were missing in our setup as well. I was learning the track the whole weekend, but great learning experience overall. Night one in the heat race. Yeah, in the heat race. In night one, I finished 7th. Only got to the semi-finish of 13th on night one. Night 2 in the heat race, I got 8th with the B main finish of 7th, missing the transfer spot by 2. Night 1, scary incident though, coming out of turn 4 in the B main, when one of my right front components on the car actually breaks off.
Oh baby! And
sends the right front wheel this way and the left front wheel this way, and I was just holding on for dear life. I I don't know how I kept it off the wall, but I'm glad I did, and we were able to roll it back in the trailer.
Well, that's good. At least you got to eat some good food Raising Cane's down there. I'm a little jealous.
Yes, if anything went right this weekend, I got the Caniac combo down.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad about that.
Cane
really,
sauce.
Cane sauce. Took Jim for the first time.
How did he like it?
He didn't say much.
Well,
I don't know if that's good or bad, but
I would say that's
he didn't say
good for
much.
Jim.
It was free for him.
I don't know
so
who couldn't
screw
like
it.
Cane's. You know what I mean?
Everybody likes Cane's.
Shit.
Speaking of food, I put up a poll on my Twitter last week. This is something that a couple of my friends and I argue all the time,
Right.
and it's the pronunciation rather of Whataburger. That's how I say it.
I'm with you 100%.
But a lot of other people, I guess, call it Whataburger.
Yeah, like what, and then, like I've had a long day, burger? No.
Yeah, so I guess the difference is between the what or the what.
Right.
Anyways.
I think it's like you have a glass of water, burger.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's how I've always learned.
That's how it's...
And I think that's how, because they come out of Texas, I believe that's how most Texans say it too. I'd have to check with some of my friends.
So that just concludes it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's all the proof we need. And
exactly.
To back that up, 69% of people thought that it was Whataburger.
Right. Even though it's spelled W-H-A-T, say water.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's Whataburger. Hands down. I just wanted to put that out there because that's been bugging me for quite a while.
Well, you did a poll and you got your answers, so...
Also, speaking of food, why do you think that some teachers threaten to kick you out of class for eating versus, like, last week, for example, my professor in one of my classes literally handed me $50 and said, "Here, go get the class bagels." I don't understand.
I don't understand their process.
Have you ever had an issue like that in school?
It depends on the teacher. Some are, anal about it, and some are okay. I don't know.
I just thought that was so weird.
Because you had a teacher that kicked you out of class for it, right?
He threatened to drop me and Jason from the course. Granted, I wasn't the smartest move that I've ever made in class, but...
Why don't we tell him what happened?
I might have been a little bit hungover, and
just a little.
I was in class, probably not paying attention on Facebook, and at one point in the class, me and Jason literally, we looked at each other. I'm pretty sure he was hungover too, and
same level.
And I was like, man, I could go for a Blake's burrito right now.
Because nothing's better than a Blake's burrito to cure your hangoverness. Maybe I'm hungover.
You sound hungover. You probably are after all that running.
Shit.
But Jason whips out his credit card and puts it on the counter, and he says, "Here you go. You fly, I'll buy."
That's a good deal.
And this teacher is like, I didn't exactly realize how anal he was about that kind of stuff.
Right.
But he got mad when I showed back into class, like after missing all but 5 minutes of it, with a paper bag full of 2 burritos, set it down. Me and Jason just start hammering these things in class.
And it's super noticeable. Like, you walk in class,
I walked in
left,
and everybody noticed.
And the noise of a paper bag isn't, that carries.
Everybody noticed when I walked in with a paper bag. And of course the door slammed behind me. And I opened my eyes. Everybody's just staring at me.
At that point, I just accepted.
At that point, I just walked over to my seat and I just started chowing down.
Hammer down.
The professor comes up to us after class, looks at us, grabs us by the shoulder and goes, "You boys don't look like you're too interested in my class." And Jason, I don't know if you've ever been around him when he gets in trouble, but he doesn't say shit.
No.
He just stays quiet and just, if he's with someone, just goes...
What do you think?
And just waits for the other person to talk for both of us. So that other person was me. And all I could think of to say when this guy told me that was, he says, "You guys don't look like you're too interested in my class." And I look up and I just tell him, "No, not today."
No, sir, not today.
Not today.
I mean, at least you're honest. Like, you're not going to be like, "Oh, yeah, no, I was hungry."
Yeah. To make the long story short, he literally said that you two should consider dropping my course because you guys are not going to last.
But
still in there.
Fast forward to today, still in there.
Still in there today.
Have you eaten
and,
since?
No. And I also
Are
have
you
not
gonna?
texted. I have only taken notes on my laptop.
You sit there at your desk like this.
I turned
full
into a
attention.
good student like that. I really need to pass that class.
Yeah, that's important.
Well, why don't we move into some more of the racing things this weekend? Snowy weather out east in Martinsville, Virginia.
Man. Camping World Truck Series. John Hunter Nemechek, he got her done.
Mm-hmm. Of course, they ran their race Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, right before the Cup race.
Yeah, it was a packed
because
day
of that snow out. This was the first snow out that NASCAR's had since 1993 in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow, what a throwback.
So that was really interesting to me. John Hunter Nemechek held off a really hard-charging Kyle Benjamin in a last lap attempt to go for the lead and the win. That was a really classy move, I thought, by Kyle Benjamin.
Yeah, leading 74 laps. You know, I thought he had that one.
Yeah. Who really had that one was Ben Rhodes, though, in the number 41 truck, leading 134 laps. That was a really impressive showing by that team.
Yeah. Finished 12th and ran out the top 3, Brett Moffitt.
Yep. Winner of Stage 1 in that and Stage 2 was Rhodes. Only came back to a 12th place finish, though. So rough showing for what was promising to be a good day for them. 10 cautions, with the biggest being on lap 87 for a 6-car pileup, which happened in Turn 2. And looking at the point standings now for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, Johnny Sauter still ahead of Grant Enterfinger by 29 points.
Yep, and Brett Moffitt's still in 3rd. No Xfinity this weekend, nor next weekend, but we did have the Monster Energy at Martinsville as well. And Clint Boyer, man.
How about Clint Boyer?
It's been a minute.
Snapping a 190 race dry spell for him.
Good for him.
There's drivers, I think I read a stat today that said there was 19 drivers in the field that haven't even run 190 races in the NASCAR
That's crazy.
Cup Series. And that's how many races he's gone since his last win, which occurred in 2012, I believe, at Charlotte.
Yeah.
Milestone victory for him and the Stewart-Haas Racing team.
Yep.
They did an awesome job all day, leading 215 laps. Again, just obliterating his laps led for much of his career so far.
Yeah, he's been really picking it up the last few years. You've seen his name in the top 5s, top 10s last year for sure. So it kind of makes you question, when's he going to get that win? If he is, he's gone.
And boom, he delivered today.
Right?
So exciting to see him and his son Cash in victory lane too.
Yeah.
Special moment for the whole family.
Especially at
all
a short
kinds of
track
drivers coming over to congratulate him.
Mm-hmm.
And what about the bridesmaid? Once again, Kyle Busch, 2nd place.
Yep. A little bit aggravated, I'd assume.
Tough end to his day.
Only led
considering
24 laps.
that he only led 24 laps and once again finished 2nd.
Yeah.
Ryan Blaney kind of impressed me today.
Number 12.
Number 12, old Matt Omick Sr.
Yeah, man.
145 laps led and looked really strong earlier in the race. So, of course, he won stage number 2. Denny Hamlin winning stage number 1.
That was my pick.
And
didn't prevail. Like
Hamlin would end up finishing 12th in the event.
Yeah. Who'd you have this weekend?
I ended up... Who did I have? I had... Now I can't... Oh, Bad Brad.
Bad Brad, that's right.
Brad Keselowski. Disappointing
Yeah.
showing, really, for him this weekend.
Yeah, well,
I was expecting a lot more out of him. He looked so strong in the fall race when I was out there last year. Just hammering every corner really hard. Car looked really good. Today, total opposite.
No.
Him and teammate Joey Logano both seemed to struggle quite a bit throughout the run of the race.
Logano ended up 6th, so a little bit better finish than Bad Brad.
A little bit better finish than Bad Brad, but both of them just did not look 100% comfortable today.
Nope.
And now we'll look at the point standings for the NASCAR Cup Series. Kyle Busch leading those, taking over the lead over Martin Truex Jr., who is now back by 8 points. Ryan Blaney 4th, Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski rounding out the top 5 there, with Kurt Busch in 10th, back by 80 points. Pretty close spread still.
It is. It's anybody's game so far.
We're going to have to see.
Still early.
Again, they're going to be off next weekend because of the holidays.
Easter weekend.
They'll be back in action the next week after that.
To Texas?
I think it is Texas, yes.
Awesome.
Now, how about we talk about some Monster Energy AMA Supercross, Mick?
Yeah, in the 250 main, Jeremy Martin, he got her done. Right in front of Adam. And third was Luke Renzel. So, or I'm sorry, Rensland.
Rensland in that 38 bike. Looking at the point series for the East, of course, this was the East-West Showdown in Indianapolis, where they invited both coast riders to show up and see who had the best bike, really, out of the two regions.
Who stands out?
There was a really bad first corner wreck that did collect East Series points leader Zach Osborne, who was able to still retain his points lead with Faulkner second, Jordan Smith third. On the west side of things, Aaron Plessinger in the 23 bike leading that, with Joey Savacci in the 17 bike also caught up in that first lap mayhem, and Adam Sian Cerullo in the 92.
What was super impressive in that 450 main, though, is Marvin Muskin, man, 31-second lead. That's crazy.
Marvin Muskin finally had the race that he's been looking to have all year and obliterated the field.
That's the first largest lead since 2006.
Crazy stat
That's
right
insane.
there, just considering how hard all these riders have been riding lately. Points leader, Jason Anderson, getting collected in, once again, a first lap incident. That's been happening quite often.
It was like a reflection of the 250 main.
Yeah, he was collected in that, but came back to a pretty strong finish and was able to retain his points lead with 265 points over Marvin Muskin, who is now back by 35, and Justin Brayton back by 55. They'll be back in action April 7th at CenturyLink Field in Seattle, Washington. Again, really great show.
Yep.
Now, moving over to World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series, Sheldon Hanschild. He was able to continue this breakthrough season in Bakersfield, California this weekend by winning his third race of the year, winning by almost 3.5 seconds and overcoming a late race restart.
Wow.
The 2016 winner, Brad Sweet, took the lead early but was losing the lead after a 360 spin and a massive wheel stand before stopping in turn 2 and going to the rear of the field. Sheldon Hanschild winning that from the 9th position. Shane Stewart 2nd, Jason Johnson 3rd, Joey Saldana 4th, and Ian Madsen 5th. And the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Cars will be back in action also April 7th at the Arizona Speedway, not too far away from us.
No, not too far. A lot of things going on April 7th. I think I'll be out of town that weekend, so will you.
Yeah, I'll be racing down south in Las Cruces, second race of the year for us.
Looking forward to get back in the seat again.
Oh yeah, it'll be good to be back home, back to be on a bigger track again. Love the short track racing, love racing with all the really heavy competition.
Yeah.
But we know Las Cruces really well, and I'm really hoping that we have the car count down there to put on a really good show.
Plus, it's a shorter drive than Oklahoma.
Much shorter.
Left lane.
Left lane. How about Formula E, Mick?
You know, I've never heard of it until you told me about it a couple weeks ago.
We were talking just a few weeks ago about Formula E. What exactly is it, and do you think that this is the way that racing is moving towards?
I think it is the future. As far as I know, it's all electric Formula One cars. So it basically looks
very
like
similar to the Formula One series.
Same concept, but everything's electric. And instead of coming in for like a new driver or tires and whatnot for a pit stop, they change batteries.
Well, they change cars.
They change cars, yeah. See, I'm still learning, but
yeah,
I think that's interesting.
Yeah. So the series was conceived in 2011. And the average power of these vehicles is 250 horsepower, and the car is able to accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just about 3 seconds, which is really impressive coming from an electric battery like that. They have a maximum speed of about 140 miles an hour, so a little bit slower, considerably, from a Formula One car, but still remarkable considering the engine package that they're doing. Again, this is totally an electric motor, no gasoline involved whatsoever. And the generators used to recharge the batteries are powered by glycerin, which I just learned about is a byproduct of biodiesel production.
Yeah, it's all interesting. It's new, so we'll see.
Do you like this idea?
I really like the old format of racing and the gas engines and whatnot. That's the heart of NASCAR and everything like that. So I don't know. Maybe it is the future, trying to save global warming and whatnot. everything's going electric.
Global warming, even though
we'll see.
We were stopped from snow in Martinsville last week, but that global warming is going to get us for sure.
So we'll see how much popularity this gets and whatnot. So
do you see stock cars going to that anytime soon?
Not soon, no. Not even in 10 years, no.
Interesting. I do see it happening. It's a matter of time because the fact that we're running out of oil, that's for sure.
True.
We only really have about 45 years of oil left. And once that's gone, it's gone.
Right.
We're going to have to accommodate for that. And really, the only thing that I'm seeing out there that's becoming more and more popular is electric engines. We're seeing that in the base model production already with Tesla and all that they're doing over there. So, for me, is it going to happen? Yes. Do I want it to happen? Not quite.
Right. I mean, we're already seeing solar-powered tracks around NASCAR, so it is a matter of time, like you said. Interesting for sure.
It's definitely going to happen. Matter of time. I hope that the one thing that bothers me the most with the Formula E is they're so damn quiet. I know that sounds stupid because obviously it's an electric engine. It's going to be quiet. But there's something about going to a race and hearing the loud engine sounds that really makes it part of the event.
Right.
So if they could fix that, I might be a little bit more on board with what they're doing down there.
Have like a sound box of an engine or something.
Yeah, it'd have to be something pretty goofy. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah. Put in headphones to watch the race.
Something's got to change because I watched one of those races and it was dead silent. You could hear the driver fart. Like it was just ridiculous.
You could hear a pin drop.
Yeah. Well, Mick, I think that's just about all we have time for tonight. We are actually not going to have Wheels Up Wednesday next week due to Easter.
Taking a break.
Just really no racing happening next weekend. So we figured we'll match that and just make a really, really nice show the following week, which will be right after my race on the 6th and 7th in Las Cruces. So I'll have to share some info about that.
Fill in what happened. A couple concerts that weekend. So
I'll tell you about that. And we'll be able to rock out and show everybody what we got going on too.
Yep. Thank you for listening and have a happy Easter.
Yeah. Thank you guys once again. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our page Wheels Up Wednesday on Facebook, share our posts, and just keep on doing what you guys are doing. Thank you guys so much once again. For Matt Omick, I'm Spencer Hill. We'll see you in